Welcome to this edition of Insider Secrets, the weekly podcast that turns real estate investing goals into reality. Each show, we interview guests who are seasoned real estate professionals, actively closing and managing real estate deals. Mike is the founder of My Core Intentions and would like to help you make your real estate investing dreams a reality. Mike coaches you to buy investment real estate, creating short-term cash flow and long-term wealth. Your host and real estate coach, Mike Morawski, has more than 30 years of real estate investing and property management experience. Here's your host, Mike.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Glad that you're here this morning. Hey, hopefully you have your coffee. You're up, you're wide awake. Depends on what part of the country you're in. Could be 10 o'clock, could be 8 o'clock, could be 11 o'clock. And that leaves out the mountain time people. But make sure you have your coffee. Buckle up for this morning. We're in for a ride. This is the podcast where we really focus in, dive in on raising capital. And we're going to talk a lot about raising capital today. Hope that you are enjoying the season and that you have finished the year strong and are looking to start next year strong, even stronger, jumpstart it, right? A couple things I want to remind you of. Mark your calendar coming up January 9th. We will be having our half-day goal-setting business planning event. It'll be virtual. Watch your email for that link to come out. Then also, I just want to plug my book again, Multifamily Investment Secrets, your guide to explosive wealth in the multifamily investing business. Hey, this book, my third one, 7-time bestseller on Amazon domestically, 3-time bestseller internationally, walks you through all the steps, all the tips, all the techniques you need to get started in the multifamily business to scale your business. One of the things I focus on in the book is some creative financing. I've been in the business 30 years and we've had 4-unit deals, 60-unit deals, 400-unit deals we've bought with no money down or very little money down. So anybody can do that. The systems all work. The techniques all work. So if you are looking at a deal, if you're looking for a strategy or a way to maybe buy something that is non-traditional because you can't get financing on it or the DSCR is bad, reach out. Let's walk through a couple ideas and thoughts that might help you get it across the finish line. If you're following us on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, please subscribe to our channel, like us, love us, forward this on to somebody. We appreciate the help and the support in growing this podcast and growing our channel. So if I can ever answer questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, let me talk about my guest for a minute here. I am joined by a longtime friend, CJ Yamada. CJ is from Las Vegas, Nevada. He has a company called Yamada Capital. Heavy focus on raising capital, runs a monthly meetup in Las Vegas called the Multifamily Las Vegas Meetup. And we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about raising capital. Let me bring CJ in real quick. CJ, morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Saturday, guys. Doing great. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. Getting through the holiday season.
Oh, yeah. Putting up extra layer on it and just setting up the trees with my kids. And yeah, great time. Great time.
Hard to believe you're in the desert in Vegas and you got 3 or 4 layers on.
Oh, Vegas gets really, really cold, Mike. Summer is 100, 110, and the winter is the real winter. Very freezing.
Yeah. You don't get snow in Vegas, though, do you?
Once in a while, it doesn't stick much. So I get to golf all year round, but it gets cold. I heard, I might be wrong, the Nevada meaning mountain with snow in Spanish. So it does get really cold. Yeah, I mean, depends on where you're listening to this from. Maybe compared to where you are, it might be nothing, but it gets cold.
Well, CJ, I'm in Huntington Beach, Southern California, and it's pretty much 72, 75 sunny year round. So kind of like that. Hey, listen, next time I come out to speak at your meetup, we'll have to golf.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we need to get that on the books.
Absolutely.
For sure. Hey, listen, as we get started and kick this off this morning, and I really appreciate you being here. I know your schedule's busy, my schedule's busy, everybody's busy these days, but taking time just to be able to share some information and maybe some golden nuggets for some newer investors, some investors that maybe have been struggling this year raising capital. How do we inspire them to move forward? But I always start my show by asking one question of my guests. And in one word, what best describes you personally and professionally?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will say I'm going to share different stories, but
Mm,
persistence, continuous daily little improvement that has made what I have now. And I believe that's the only way to get where I want to go in the future.
yeah. I love that word persistence. I mean, you have to be. One of the things I talk to people a lot about and coaching and mentoring is follow up. You
That's
got to
right.
be persistent in your follow up because people don't answer the phone today. They don't respond to emails or text messages and they ignore you. And you've got to be persistent,
Yeah,
especially if you're raising capital on a deal, right?
that's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So, how about a little background on you? Tell the listeners about your history and how you started Yamada
Yeah.
Capital.
Yeah, I think I can start my background a little bit related to the word persistence. I came originally from Japan during my college time, actually Orange County, UC Irvine, and I didn't speak any English. I didn't know how to ask where my bus stop was or the bathroom was. And I was walking around by myself, crying on the campus. I decided I was very committed to achieve this hard time and make it lifetime breakthrough. So I studied English 8 hours a day, 2 years strong, no break, no
Mm.
Christmas break, no weekend break, no rainy ticket, 8 hours. I wasn't sitting on the desk 8 hours, maybe going out and talk with somebody in English. So I became fluent with English. So that's the first experience in my lifetime. Persistence is everything. You memorize one vocabulary a day, you speak one English speaker a day, and I was slowly growing my skill set. Then I graduated my college, got a sales job, no experience, and I worked for a couple of companies, but ended up being the largest solar company in the U.S. with 600 reps, with no networks with homeowners to sell solar, with no sales skill in the solar industry. But I blocked 1 hour every day to make phone calls, cold calling. If you own a home in a certain areas, I'm sure you get a lot of phone calls from solar guys, but I was one of them. And one
Okay.
hour, no matter what, 6 days, weekends, holidays, it doesn't matter. I kept begging people if they need a solar. So I became one of top 1% in the entire nation. I was killing it. My company was sponsoring LA Dodgers at that point. So I got to do my first pitch in one of Dodgers games as the top performer.
Wow,
So
good stuff.
my foundation is not like a one day big home run ever happen, but daily small persistent effort. I still wake up at 4 a.m. every day, write my goals, read a book 20 minutes, and finish my email to assistant and plan a day ahead. Hit the gym, a little bit 1% improvement on my weight, and take shower and good to go. So if listeners you are looking for a big success, the only way, in my opinion, is to commit with a daily effort 10-20 minutes related to something you want to achieve. So I spin off from employee to business owner in the solar industry. I still did the same thing, but I decided not to work for somebody else and work for myself, and started hiring assistants, employees, and other sales guys and stuff. That was a 2019.
Hmm.
Money was good, business was good, and started thinking what other successful people do, and found out real estate is a way to generate passive income, minimize your tax. So I started listening to different podcasts and YouTube channels in the morning when I wake up 4 a.m. and found a coach, started networking, invested in a couple of deals as an LP to learn how syndication deals work and how GPs do their daily businesses, which is highly recommended if you are new to this industry. Make 50,000, 100,000 in your pocket first and invest in someone who you trust and who are willing to communicate with you to share a little bit of background of asset management and closing those details. And I did that and I learned a lot. My first deal as a general partner, first own syndication deal, happened to be 49 units senior housing in the state of Wisconsin. And Wisconsin has a very generous government subsidies for senior housing. If we want to, we can source 100% income from them. It's been increasing 7 to 9% annually past 30 years. This year, I think it was election thing, but they dumped 258 extra million dollars. That became about 15% increase for us. So business is great. They always pay. They have the magic power to print money and come up with a payment. We don't have to evacuate a government. So that's a great thing to have as a tenant. But as far as the capital raising, I raise capital for those deals, including my family, friends, and my money too. This is also persistence. You're not going to meet multi-millionaires one day at the Starbucks and they're going to invest in that deal. Not going to happen. One shake
Right.
hand in your networking event, exchange business card, they're going to invest you. Not going to happen. Basically, I see capital raising game as a farming business, not a hunting business. You're not going to be able to find a big one and shoot it. No, it's a farming. You have to seed, rice seed, water them, nurture them, let them sprout, and let them grow. And when the right time comes, you harvest it.
Yep.
So, what you have to do is two things basically maximize the size of the farms, basically the number of contacts you have, the size of CRM, and then you keep increasing the size of CRM, going to a networking event, Zoom meeting, extra shake hands, whatever you can do to get the contact info and start sending out educational contents. I do that monthly with the market updates, asset updates, and as Mike said, I have a meetup event, so I update what is happening in my meetup events. That's why they help me to invest in LP deals first because I could educate my investors as my deal as what is happening on my end. And I had a chance to ask them, hey, when I have a good deal like this next time, would you be interested in invest with me? If they say
Yeah.
yes, ask the amount, how much would you be interested in deploying? That's called a soft commitment. Soft commitment. Anyways, that's farming activities I have been doing. Basically, 5 new contacts every week. That's my minimum goal. You can go to networking event. You can show up Zoom. You can join a mastermind group like Mike does, and then get connected to other members there and introduce each other, take note. That's a size of farm. Now
Right.
the game starts. You're not going to harvest yet. You keep watering them, adding value, adding value, adding value, such as text message follow up, monthly email. So best time, this is actually what I learned from Mike. Best time to raise capital is when you don't have a deal. Is that right, Mike?
Right. Absolutely. 100%. Hey, let's tear
So
some of this apart a little bit. Hey, I want to go back to the persistence thing for a minute. And here's what I want to ask you. How frustrating was it for you to learn English? Because English isn't the easiest language to learn, right? So how
no,
frustrating
not
was it for you? And what was it about it that made you so committed that you didn't give up, that you stayed persistent?
Yeah, so I think people have different source of motivation. In my case, goes back like a year before I arrived in the United States. I was in Indonesia. I was surfing, so I was traveling in a different country to surf. Of course,
Okay.
no English.
Ministry serving, Christian ministry type thing?
No, surfing board.
Oh,
So I was,
surfing. Got it.
yeah, I don't deserve those ministry thing. I was just surfing for myself.
Got it. Got it. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, during my college time. So I ended up in a Bali island, Indonesia.
Wow.
Okay, and there was a group of surfers from Europe. And one day they asked me to go out, dinner, drink, and meet like a music studio. But I think it was like a 9 p.m., even before 9 p.m. I was crying again, going back to motel by myself because I didn't understand what they are talking about, what they're laughing at, how they're having fun. I didn't understand the music they were listening to. So I
Mm.
still have my diary I wrote on that day. I wrote in Japanese, of course. I didn't have a least fun today, but I'm gonna turn this day the most meaningful day in my life. That was the clicking point. I want to speak English. I want to do this. So next page of my diary, I started writing in English. That was a clicking moment, and I was so committed to pursue my goal.
Good for you. Good for you. I love, and I want people to take to heart the persistence piece of it. I mean, we can walk through life and we have challenges and we stumble and we might even fall at times. I've had a fall from grace, but what happens is that you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and take the next step. And I really like what you said. You don't make big leaps every day, you make little steps along the way. And those little steps become, when you look back, you go, wow, look how far I've come,
Yeah,
right? So I want people to take heart to that because I think a lot of people get in this business and they want it right now. They want so much right now. And they want to own 1,000 units. They want to raise all this capital. They want the asset management piece to go smoothly. And it doesn't work like that sometimes,
no,
especially
no.
when you're in the downside of a cycle on the market and you're waiting for the market to change. You have to take those consistent actions. Back to capital raising. What types of tools do you have in place? I think that you and I have had this conversation before. I say you have to be a fisherman. You got to have more lines in the water. So you've
Correct.
got your feet up. You're out talking to people. What else are you doing to attract potential investors?
Yes, Meetup is one, become a thought leadership platform. And not because of me, but because of the size of audience, I get to message different top performers like Mike, and I can host a speaker, and I get it as a host, and people gather to a room to listen to Mike, for example, if he is a guest speaker, and I collect a group of people, add value to them, and I get a contact info, I get credit from the speaker, and I start building one-to-one relationship from there. On top of that, I belong to this mastermind group that comes with a closed Facebook group. And every time a new members join, every time someone close deal, I message them, hey, let's exchange info, educate each other to start helping each other. I actually belong to a couple of Facebook groups. That's one. And also, I try to go to real estate mastermind kind of conference, in person, big conference, at least every quarter, ideally every month.
Nice.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, they have a lot of stuff. So that kind of makes it easy for you sometimes, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
For sure. So let's say you're at a meetup and not your meetup. Well, even your meetup, you're going to have somebody new come, you're going to have a conversation with them. When somebody asks you, hey, what do you do, CJ? Do you have an elevator pitch? What do you tell them?
Yes, I do. I mean, I can do like a brief pitch about me, like I leave Vegas from Japan, those kind of things. But as a business, I make double-digit cash flow with the government subsidized senior housings in Wisconsin. That's
Nice.
my shortest pitch.
Okay. And from that, is that intrigue people where people want to know more? Where
Yeah,
do you,
yeah, and I'm gonna start talking about deal structure, which is syndication, and capital raise, which is what I do, and the exact deal. So our senior housing in Wisconsin, and start talk about why Wisconsin, why senior housing, my teams and my investors. If not, I ask them questions. Definitely, you wanna have an attitude to help them and elevate them before they elevate you. But if they ask me questions, those are main topics I usually talk about myself.
Sure. How about your follow-up process? So you talked about that whole farming piece, plant the seed,
Mhm.
water it,
Mhm.
nurture it. How do you water and nurture along the way? What are your systems and processes that you have around follow-up?
Yes, so everybody should have an e-business card in your phone. I use a Blink that shows a QR code and let them scan my contact info, and they can submit my contact info, vice versa. And my virtual assistant insert them to my CRM, including name, email address, how we met, and then she sends out thank you message. It was nice meeting you. Let's set up one to one. Here's my calendar link so that we can do follow up one to one. And then everybody in that CRM will start receiving email, monthly email with educational contents.
Okay. And do you feel that that's adequate enough to stay in front of people?
It depends. So that's a default follow-up, right? But depends on the lead source. You want to have a different categories on each contact. Let's say you and I meet up, my meetup, for
Okay,
example.
I want people to listen to what you just said because this is going to be really good. You want to have a different category for each lead.
Correct. So meetup, Facebook group, business owners, anything is fine. But the goal is to multiply the point of contact. For example, monthly default email, everybody receives it. If you and I meet on a meetup, you start receiving meetup advertisement, meetup updates. Hey, here are the next events. Here's what is happening. This is a summary of educational contents our speaker provided last night. Or if you invest in one of my deals, I share extra educational content about the specific that deal. If you don't invest in that deal, you are still categorized as interested but not invested. Okay. So I still update them on that deal because they were interested and they probably looking at how they go. So I want them to know how it's performing and providing distributions.
So keeping people updated, staying in front of them,
Yeah.
keeping them abreast of what you're doing, really important in the nurturing process. What's funny is years ago when I got in the real estate business and I first started selling real estate, I used to keep my leads on a 3x5 card. And my hottest leads I kept in my suit coat pocket on a 3x5 card. Those were the ones I called every day. The technology's changed a lot today, and there's tools that we have to follow up with people. How do you treat your hottest leads? So I have somebody that says,
Great.
hey, okay, I'm going to invest, or they fill out a soft commitment on the investor portal. How do you treat them now?
Yeah. So I categorize them as a VIP. So there's another checkbox in a CRM. And when they invest in with me, they have to have two things. One is trust with me. Two is enough capital to deploy. Okay. But sometimes they don't invest. Maybe they have enough capital, but they don't know about me. They don't trust me yet. Vice versa. Maybe my old friends, they have great relationship with me, but no capital yet. But with one more click, they will invest. So I categorize them as so on
Okay.
top of monthly email, on top of extra categorized updates such as deals, such as meetup, I will individually contact them every month or two. I prefer either phone call or text message, whichever they prefer, not you. If they're a text message person, I text message them. If they're phone call, I phone call them. And at that point, I'm not interested in my deals or how I'm doing. I just want to know how they are doing and how I can potentially, that's a Pareto principle, right? 20% of people pay 80% of tax, 20% of people fund 80% of your deal. So 20 times
Right.
20, I usually get 44% of entire CRM categorized as a VIP. Usually they have enough capital to deploy or a very good relationship with me.
So, how about this? How often do you follow up with somebody before maybe you just stop following up with them? And then what do you do with that lead?
Like individual follow up and they are not responding to you. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
right.
So in sales industry, 80% of sales are closed after seven follow-up, okay?
Hmm.
But 80% of sales guys, sales reps only follow up 3 times. So between 3 to 7 follow-ups, there is money. That's where you become millionaire. That's why not everybody becomes a millionaire. So I make sure if they show, let's say I'm raising capital for a specific deal and they show interest, and we did the individual email communication, a phone call, and answering the questions. They stop answering the phone calls or stop communicating with you. I make sure I contact 7 to 10 times, and if not, that's fine. And sometimes they reply to you no, sometimes reply to you with the questions, sometimes they're just behind of things and too busy. But make sure after third times you are one of top 20 or one of most annoying 20% guy. So either way, you're standing out in their life. Congratulations. And your
Right.
goal is to not to sell but to communicate with them. Hey, I haven't heard back from you. Any questions? Should I stop contacting you, or are you looking at other deals? What is happening on your end? Because I spend my time to share what I'm investing in, and of course I'm not going to force them to invest with me, but at least I want them to communicate with me to come up with their conclusion.
It's funny. I heard a sales guy one time say a lot of times we send people emails and they're long, drawn out emails. When people will look at that and they'll just discard it, they won't read it. So I have found that the simplest email is, hey, you expressed an interest in passive real estate investing. Are you still interested? Where do I go from here? Just simple, plain, right to the point. Because I can follow up with somebody 8, 10 times. They just ghost you. What do you do with those people that you just never can get a hold of? At what point do you delete them from your database or just leave
Oh,
them
no,
there?
no, never. That's the asset of your life. That's the asset of your business. Let's say you close a deal and ended up not raising capital from a specific one. They just go back to a regular cycle and they still get receive my monthly email. And again, they're categorized interested, not invested. So they do still get a deal update from me and how it's going. And they might be regretting not investing in that deal. And those guys might be on the top of the wait list and when you have next deal.
Yeah, interesting. I like that. Interested, not invested. That's good. Hey, listen, I appreciate you being here today. One last question. Where do
Yeah.
you see the market going in 2025, going into the new year? What's going to happen?
That I don't know. We have a new administration office in next year, and a lot of loans from pandemic time are getting close to the due. So I think it's going to be good. But my pitch to differentiate myself is I'm being paid by government anyways. They have a magic power to print money. So when economy is good, they inflate it. Economy is bad, they inflate it to make sure we stay in the business. So my government subsidized senior housing portfolio are going to be very confident we're going to be okay. But in general, when you invest, you want to make sure you have good cash flow and stable debt. And when economy is good or bad, you always do the same thing. Again, I'm in my farming business to grow my portfolio. So I do look at what is happening outside, but let's focus on what we can do, what we can control, and keep making shake hands, keep contacting people, keep looking for deals, keep being conservative, and hopefully we keep crushing next deal to next. Yeah.
Awesome. CJ, thanks for being here. Tell people how they reach out to you, get a hold of you if they want to find out about your Vegas networking group or they want to talk to you about senior housing.
Yeah. CJ Yamada. I'm the only one on Google, CJ Yamada. Google me, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or YamadaCapital.com. You can find my portfolio too.
Awesome. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
going to move you up to the back room. If you hang out with me for a minute, I'm going to say goodbye to
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you
Thanks again.
guys.
Hey, everybody. That was a great show. CJ really got down to some brass tacks about about raising capital, nurturing, follow up, things I think that we know, but maybe sometimes we just don't do them. And I think that we're in an environment where you just have to maybe make a couple of more phone calls, a couple of more follow-up calls to stay in touch with people and push that envelope forward. Because raising capital we're in a business that our function is to raise capital and get that deal done. So how do we help you? CJ can be of help to you. Reach out to him. His information will be in the show notes. If we can help in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. If you're a capital raiser, give us a call. Let's see if there's some opportunities out there that we can partner on. Don't hesitate to reach out. Love to connect with you and learn more about you. If you are looking for any help along the way, don't hesitate to call. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for joining us for another great episode of Insider Secrets. As always, Insider Secrets is brought to you by My Core Intentions. Wherever you hang out on social media, you will find Mike and My Core Intentions. Please like and follow us to get the most up-to-date real estate investing trends. Visit mycoreintentions.com, where you can get expert coaching on all things real estate investing and property management. If you're looking to become an expert, Mike's coaching will help you scale your real estate investment business. We're looking forward to having you back again next week for more Insider Secrets.